All right, so this is the third time that I've sat down and recorded this video. I threw my hair up, I'm just frustrated. I keep saying things and it's not coming out the right way, and I think that I just need to stop trying so hard to sugarcoat things and just say what the hell I have on my mind. It's gotten to that point. This video is talking about Toby Turner and the rape accusations that have been made against him. That's all I keep hearing about. Everyone texting me, blowing up my phone, asking me if I'm okay. You know, I'm here if you need anything, kind of thing. That's really sweet. I appreciate the concern, but what gets crazy is, you know, the next level of people who are texting me saying, hey, have you been raped? Have you been beaten? Have you been drugged? That's the kind of messages that I've been getting from people that I know personally and for people online. Every comment that I got on everything is about this. If I posted a picture of my cat right now on Instagram, it would be Toby, 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 Toby in the comments, and that's fine. That's just how it's going to be until I address it, so that's the point of this video. I would like to just get it out there and then not hear about it anymore as much as possible. Please don't leave it as every comment on all of my stuff. I can't take it anymore. I am so overwhelmed, and I apologize for the speed at which I talk. I need to slow down. I'm distressed. Oh God, where do I start? So April F., girl that I've known for a little while. I don't really know her. I just have been in similar areas, so we kind of run into each other sometimes. Posted this on Tumblr. I'll put a screenshot over my face. The truth about Tobuscus. Trigger warning, abuse, rape, drugs, pretty much everything else. So here we go. Trigger warning post about rape on Tumblr. Awesome. This girl is, I think, a nice person. I don't really know her, like I said, personally. I don't think that she's making up everything. I think that some parts of the post that she said as definites are more of a gray area, and that's something that I would like to discuss because it's pretty dangerous whenever you don't explain things fully and put things into context. I have known Toby for a little while now. We started dating in February of last year. When we started dating, I got several girls that would come up to me and warn me. They thought that like he was this horrible monster of a person. They didn't want me to date him. They were worried that I was going to get hurt, that I was going to get cheated on, that something bad was going to happen to me, and I ignored all of them. One of my flaws is that I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't like to just like judge somebody based off of hearsay or like what, you know, just the rumors. It's pretty much all I ever thought it was, just a bunch of rumors. I didn't take much of it seriously. And the reason that I didn't take much of it seriously was because a lot of these girls, whenever they would see him in person at parties, at YouTube events, would smile and go up to him and hug him and act like they were best freaking friends. They would like his pictures on Facebook and comment and tell him how they missed him and leave hearts and smiley faces. And like, how am I supposed to take your warnings seriously whenever you seem to kiss his ass at every given opportunity? It just didn't make sense to me. April was one of the people that warned me. She wrote me a message on Facebook because I had made some comment somewhere about a guy hurting me and she thought it was him. So she's like, hey, any chance this guy that you were talking about was Toby? And I had to be like, no, it was this other guy. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, just warning, be careful with that, or something like that. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was an attempt to warn me about Toby because apparently she had some kind of bad experience. So I said, okay, didn't really take it that seriously. And then several months later, they were hanging out, like they were friends. They went to like some theme park or something, Disney, I think. They went to a movie, and I was like, okay, maybe whatever beef they had before has been solved. I really didn't know the extent of it. So I started dating him, and we had a lot of problems. There were situations where I felt pressured to do things that made me uncomfortable. You know, and I got to a point where I just didn't put up with it anymore. You know, like, this is so hard to talk about because I feel like, first of all, this is personal. It should not be on the internet, and I feel like forced almost to do this because of things that are being said and how much pressure is being put on me to address it, since it's very public that him and I, like, know each other. He has a history of cheating. He's not a person that's probably very good with monogamy, and that was our biggest fight because that was something that I wanted. and he wasn't honest with me about things. I caught him in lies. I didn't trust him anymore. My trust had been broken. And I got to a point where I decided that I could not be happy like that. I wanted to have a monogamous relationship, and that's it. And if you can't give that to me, then I'm sorry, I can't be with you. And then we broke up. And then we ended up getting back together like a week later. And he told me that he was gonna change, and he realized that like being with me and the potential of, you know, having that relationship flourish, like that was more important than sex with other people, even though that was pretty important to him. And we decided to work on it again. And that blew up in my face because I caught him texting inappropriate things to other people. And I couldn't trust it. I couldn't trust it. So I left him again. And during this period of him like trying to convince me that, you know, all I want is you. I'm never going to go anywhere else. And like, I promise, and I'll earn your trust back. Like while he was saying all those things, he's like out with other people, like sleeping with other people. And lying about it. One of these situations was where he went out of town. He was in Canada, and I went to his place to watch the dogs, and I found some questionable things that he denied, that later he admitted. And also, while he was in Canada, there was a girl there. While he was denying what I had found was meanwhile with somebody else. You know, and then it was just at a breaking point for me. I couldn't do it anymore. I was done. Broke up with him. What pissed me off the most about the situation was that I was attacked by a lot of his fans because he made a couple of videos on his vlog channel about how I abandoned him and how I made him sad and how it was because we didn't spend enough time together, and like that wasn't the reason. I mean, we discussed that because there were some issues there, but like that's not the reason we broke up. We broke up because of other very serious issues. And then all these people came attacking me saying how I was horrible, and I understand because the content on my channel isn't always something that people view as a good thing. I do. I feel like I'm doing good with the things that I say in my videos, but a lot of people don't, and they think that I'm a bad person for not being religious and being outspoken about it and things that I say and my political views, and they judge me for it. So not only do I have these young people thinking that I'm mean to him, they look at my channel and they're like, oh yeah, this bitch, you know, of course, she's horrible. I can't believe she broke Toby's heart. And I had to deal with this. And I actually got to a point where I had to make a video on my vlog channel being like, stop with all the hate comments. Like I was trying to move on, and like I kept being flooded with these people telling me how horrible I was after I felt like I had just gone through hell. And it was very frustrating for me. And then the girl that he was with in Canada ended up moving to LA, moving in with him, and they dated. The reason I bring this up is because I eventually came back into the picture. We started talking. It had been like 4 months. We decided to like put the past aside and like talk as friends. We considered dating again. He flew me to Mexico for my birthday. It was, you know, it was like one of the sweetest things anyone's ever done for me. And while we were there, he was messaging other girls, one of which was the one that he dated, and told her like that he loved her. And she posted about it. She tweeted about, or I think she Snapchatted about it, and her fans saw that and then commented on one of my vlogs saying, hey, you know, you're in Mexico, and then this is what he's saying, and then that caused a fight. And there was this comment thread of people bringing this to light on my vlog, and April saw it, the girl who made the Tumblr post. She saw it. She commented on it. And she immediately wrote me and said, hey, sorry I commented publicly about Toby on your vlog channel, but I just, you know, had to. I can't hold it back anymore. He treated me like shit. He, you know, drugged me, and I have text proof because I made sure that I made sure to have him admit it in text messages, and it just seemed very weird. I know that April, you know, after this supposedly happened, she lived with him for a couple of months. And like, you know, people talk and everything is rumor, but one thing that I heard forever ago was, because I helped him curb the drug problem. I helped that a lot. I tried to get rid of alcohol. I tried to get rid of drugs. I had a very good influence on him. A lot of people, you know, have come to me and told me, like, when you dated him, like, you helped a lot, which is cool. Like, and it made me feel good about myself that I was able to have that kind of effect. But one of the things that I heard, and one of the reasons why I didn't really like when he would hang out with April, was because I knew that she was one of the people that introduced him to Molly. She told him about 5-HTP and how that helped her because it made her depressed. Like, anyone that I talk to that knows the situation you know, thinks that it's just her being, sorry for the plane, that it's her being, you know, pulled into things by him. But I've heard the opposite in some situations. You know, there's two sides to every story, and I feel like people are only getting one. And I understand that he probably did treat her like shit. He probably did yell at her. He probably did make her cry. You know, he probably did, you know, lie to her about his relationships with other people, and did lie to her to keep her staying, you know, about, you know, going public eventually with their relationship and stuff. I believe all of that is true, but I do believe that there's a gray area. I don't know exactly what happened with the drug thing. I wasn't there. But I also know other things, you know. I also know that, like, you know, he's the kind of person that likes to be praised. He likes compliments. He likes his ego to be inflated. He likes to feel attractive. He likes people to want him. I think that's part of the reason why monogamy is such an issue, because he likes feeling wanted by people so much. So if ever there were a situation, and it happened a couple of times where I was mad at him for some reason, or I was not feeling totally well, or something happened, you know, that I just was not into it, and he was trying to come on to me, and I was just not about it, and like, he doesn't like that. Like, he wants to feel like what he's doing is awesome, and he likes feedback, and, you know, if you're acting like you don't like it, or something is wrong, like, he takes it as like a personal thing, like, oh, what, you don't want me? Like, I'm not good enough? Like, you know, it turned him off, is what I'm trying to say. In the few times that happened with me and him, it turned him off, and he wasn't interested in sex anymore, because I didn't seem like I was like all about him. You know, I wasn't really into it, and he didn't like that. He wants me to be, you know, he wants whoever. That's my experience, at least. I don't know how it is for everyone, but for me, that was just a no-go. That ruined it for him every time with us. As far as him being kind of aggressive and ripping off clothes, yeah, you know, I've experienced that. It's kind of one of the things that he does. I don't think that he's doing it maliciously. I think he is thinking that the person he's doing it to probably likes it, and unless you express otherwise, he will continue to think that. A couple of times I've had to tell him, I don't want that. No, stop it, you can't just do that. He would always tell me how very appropriate I act, which I don't think, like we do clash in that sense. Like, I am pretty conservative whenever it comes to things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, you know, and I also don't really put up with bullshit. There are times where I was swayed by certain things, but you know, if I ever got to a point where I really felt uncomfortable or I really didn't like something, I was just like, no. You know, and there are girls that I've talked to who have said they just have a really hard time saying no, and then will continue to say how, like, they were made to feel a certain way, and that sucks. You know, I'm sorry that you know, you were uncomfortable, but you have to say something in those situations. That's the thing, like, I don't know the situations. I do not know. All I know is that my experience with him, I'm very vocal. I let him know when I don't like something, you know, and that's the end of the story. I know how the internet works, and I know how people love to jump on a story like this and add to it. And I know that there are probably girls out there that he made feel uncomfortable, and he's gotta, you know, reevaluate how he acts. I already know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get people commenting. There's no winning with this kind of thing. You can either jump on this type of bandwagon and say, hey, yeah, he's a, you know, blah, da, 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 and he did this to me, and then get everyone, you know, giving me little pats on the back and things of sympathy and saying I'm great. You know, or saying that I'm, you know, just attention seeking. So there's that aspect. Or I could say what I'm saying now and try to say that there's probably a gray area. Yeah, he's probably done some really shitty things, but I don't think it's maybe as bad as the entire world thinks it is right now. You know, and then I'm gonna get the opposite response from people. I'm gonna say, oh, you're just being manipulated by him still, and you can't stand up for yourself, and like, you're just being brainwashed. And it's like, there's no winning at all. I don't know what to say. Except for that I have to say something. You know, like I said, every comment that I've been getting has been, oh God, you know, yeah, fuck. I mean, right now, getting messages from people about this, missed calls, like, it's just overwhelming. Someone earlier told me a quote from Mark Twain, a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. And I feel like that's this, that sums this up pretty solidly right now. People love a good villain, and you know, That he is to a certain extent, but to a certain extent is a very important part of that sentence. That needs to be thought about. Shit, I don't know how to end this. I don't know if I should post this. Personal business aside, like, you don't want somebody to I don't want anything bad to happen, is all I'm saying. And it's just scary. It's a scary situation, and I don't know how to act. And I'm just gonna stop talking because there's not like a really great conclusion for this. I'm just gonna go and live my life and try to be happy and post my own videos and hope that this isn't something that's just gonna be every other comment, and that I'm not gonna constantly get people messaging me saying horrible things. But anyways, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.